the gluteus medius muscle we talked about that's on the side of your hips. That's what we're going to work on next. So just watch me first. First thing you're going to do, this is called the clamshell. You guys probably seen it before. So you're going to lay on your side, and then you don't want to be rolled back like this or forward like this. You want to be just completely straight up and down. You're going to put your hand that's on top behind your hip, okay? And then you're going to move your toes away from each other so that they're kind of spread apart. And then you're going to lift up with your knee. And if you go to the point where you're rolling back, that's too far. So we just want to go up. We're going to pause for about 5 seconds, come down. Go up, pause for about 5 seconds, come down.
So the movement you really focus on is lifting the knee, not the hip.
Right. So you should feel it though on the when you have your hand here. So your hand is here so you don't roll back, and it's also here because you can actually feel that little muscle work in there, okay? If people start to lean back, they're not working the right muscles, okay? So everybody try that. So a little bit of bend at the knees, a little bit more bend, Rish. There you go. Good. Explanatory. What we're doing is we're isolating the glute muscle on the back. So glute max is the one that makes your hip go back like this. But another thing that makes your hip go back is the hamstrings, and those are usually strong. So we're going to take the hamstrings out of it by bending our knee, and then we're going straight up in the air like this. Doesn't really matter where your arms are, just as long as they're comfortable. Okay? So a couple things to remember with that. The most common mistake is people will lift their hip up and try to go like this to get it up. Okay? So this part of my hip wants to stay on the ground. We're just kind of getting so the knee goes a little bit up. It's not a very big motion, as you can see. So let's try it. We'll do 10 on each side to start out. This will be surprisingly difficult for a lot of people.
I've never seen it with the knee bent, but that's true.
Yeah, keep your knee bent the whole time.
Because your hamstring is already strong.
And let it come down completely.
Hey Alex, how was golfing? They shoot a good score?
Yeah, they weren't half bad actually. I think 79 around there, so like 85.
Cool. You can just hop in the core.
First,
We're just
okay?
doing core stuff.
We want to build up the endurance of that muscle. So do 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Try not to alternate between. No. So keep it bent the whole time. When you go down, you're still keeping that leg bent. You're just allowing your butt muscle to rest. Is bridging, okay? So with some people, it's gonna start out with just those legs on the ground, and then you're gonna remember that muscle we tightened to flatten our back. So the first thing we're gonna do is tighten that muscle, and then we're gonna squeeze our bottom together, and then we're gonna lift up, okay? That's gonna be pretty easy for most of you guys. So let's try that first. Let me know if it's too easy. It'll probably be pretty easy.
So wait, go through that again.
So we're tightening that core muscle, we're squeezing our bottom, and then we lift up our hips. So
Now do they lift and hold, or they lift and bring it back
yeah,
down?
we're going to lift and hold just about 5 seconds, and then back down. So here we're working on the hamstrings, the glutes, and the core musculature. Common things you'll see with this one is people's hips sagging down when they try to go up, or they're flexed at their trunk, or they're bent at their trunk because their core muscles are weak.
So how many will we start doing? Is it by time or till you feel a burn, or?
10 by 5 seconds.
Okay. Now will we want to increase that then, like each eventually?
The next progression of it is, so sometimes what we'll do if we're like in the weight room, we'll put our legs on top of a ball, and then we'll go up and do it. That'll make it way harder. Well, you guys know what a Bosu ball is? It's a little half ball you see in the gym. You'll put your feet on top of it and do a bridge, so that'll make it harder. The last thing that you guys might be able to do right now, we'll see, is to only use one leg. So we're going to slightly lift one leg up, bridge up the same way. So tighten our core, squeeze our bottom, and then come up. So it's a one-legged bridge. That's what we want to get everybody to by official practice time. Okay?
So guys, this is just the start of the core thing. We want to make sure this is all right. Then there's a progression. That's what he keeps talking about. Okay. Strong core is key. If you have a strong core, it almost takes away almost every injury that you can possibly have.
Yeah. So like, what I thought about when I made this stand up, we're going to do a squat. Okay? Now with the dynamic stuff, we already talked a little bit about what makes a squat a good squat. Now you don't have to worry about going to the side, so it should be a little bit easier. So we're going to get our feet about just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, maybe about an inch. Okay? We're going to keep that core nice and tight. We're going to keep our body nice and upright. We don't want to bend or even lean back. Most people don't lean back, but a lot of people will bend forward. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go down. Remember, our knees want to go right over about where our second toe would be. Okay, we don't want to go in or out. And then we're going to go to where our thighs are about parallel with the ground. So you're going to make about a 90-degree angle. A 90-degree angle right here. Okay, so we're going down, and then we're coming back up.
Can I get that from the side again, Coach Kevin?
Sure.
Okay. And you notice his
It
speed.
helps to put your arms up because if I put them down, watch what happens to my back. Okay? As I go up, then my back can't do that as much.
So that's probably the biggest thing you're going to see are the arms going down.
Then like you see your legs, your knees are coming out to the side a little bit too much. So we want to. There you go. Good. It's a little bit better. Actually, I'd even narrow your stance just a little bit.
So the key is probably the speed.
Yeah, that looks way better. And it makes it way harder.
How many will we start with, Coach Kevin?
We're just going to we'll do a set of 10, take a break, do another set of 10. Remember, nice and slow on the way down. If you can't get to that 90 degrees right away, that's okay. There's a lot of reasons why you might not be able to get to 90 degrees. It could be weakness, it could be tightness in your calves or in your quads. Don't worry about that too much. And it's actually harder than a regular lunge, I think. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out in a half kneeling position like this. Remember, we're going to stay nice and upright. Just like with everything else, we're not bending forward. Then what we're going to do is we're going to just barely lift our knee off the ground and go up and down like this. So basically, your quad doesn't give a break.
I hear some noises, Coach Kevin.
So we're going to do 10 of them to start. This is a tough one.
I like that because it forces them. They never know how low to go on a squat, so they can't cheat.
Exactly.
I like that. I've never seen that. I like the noises. Look at that.
TJ's got a good one.
You have to get down all the way.
You're not going, so you don't have to go, you don't go up that far. Okay?
You see
What
this?
that works on, there's a muscle, so you have your quadriceps muscles. There's something called the VMO or the vastus medius obliquus. Okay, so you guys get an anatomy lesson here. This muscle on the inside helps pull the knee kind of inward because lots of times when you run it wants to go out. So we're strengthening this muscle on the inside.
Wait, can you give me another demonstration of how high you go,
Sure.
Coach Kevin?
It's barely unweighting it. So we start from the bottom and we're just going.
So you want us to touch the ground when we come
Yeah,
back
just
down,
tap
though?
it though. You're not relaxing. You're just
Oh no, that
tapping.
looks painful.
And then
So-
you come back.
So once again, you don't want them to go too fast or speed.
The other things are plank and side plank. I know you guys know how to do it, but let's go ahead and get in the just regular plank position because I'm gonna critique a little bit.
So if we stand on our backs. We can't
No,
stand up. We're
yeah.
doing it wrong.
So show them your best plank position.
All right. So remember, with this one, contracting the core. Common mistakes you'll see: the butt will sag or the butt will come up. You guys have probably seen that with a lot of people before. All right. A lot of times with this exercise in the past, what we've tried to do is we've tried to push ourselves and say, oh, we're absolutely going to hold for 60 seconds. What I want you to do is hold it as long as you can with good form. Okay, we'll start out with 60 seconds. Most people will be able to do that. But if the butt starts to sag or starts to come up, then those muscles aren't working as well, and it's time to take a break. Okay?
You should feel your abs almost start to shake.
Yep.
They should be like this. Remember, once you go in bad form, just go down. It's not a contest.
And I haven't been keeping track of time. So
See here.
whenever you guys want to drop down, that's
You
fine.
can drop down. Remember, it's not a contest.
Okay?
Now, where should their head be? Should they be lifting their head up or keep it like
Head
parallel?
should be neutral with your spine, okay?
That's
So
all I always see with the head up. I don't want their head
James
up.
are here. Where his head is right now is where I want it. James, let's look up.
See, that's
Not
I don't
like
want
that,
to.
okay?
See, I saw some people trying to watch you, and I know that wouldn't be good trying to do core.
Right, exactly. So kind of what you're gonna do when you show these to the younger kids is you're gonna say, you guys just sit there and watch me for a second. Otherwise, they're gonna be straining their neck and that kind of thing, okay? All right, the next one is the side plank. You guys have done that before. Propping on the elbow. Okay, so kind of going like this, keeping completely straight. What you'll see people do when they start to get weak, like this. They're gonna drop down. So we're gonna go like this, or they'll come up like this and try to do something weird, okay? Don't let them do something weird. All right. As we progress this, so we're gonna start out just holding for 30 seconds. As we progress it, we're gonna start bringing our hand up and around. But that's gonna be a while later, okay? Because that's kind of tough. So you can try it just to see how much more demand that, okay? And we'll do that every day. And the first we'll start out kind of like we've done in the past. You're gonna stand on one leg, bring your leg out to the side for about 5 seconds without putting this leg down. Then we're gonna go out to the side, out front for 5 seconds, out to the side for 5 seconds, behind you for 5 seconds, and then we're gonna do a little circle.
Ooh, a little circle.
All right, when that gets easy, we're gonna close our eyes, which was gonna make it way harder. And then we're gonna go out to the side, or front, side. Okay, I'm clearly not ready for it. Back, and then a circle. Okay.
Oh man, the circle's not happening.
So since we are cross-country runners, and we run on roofs
Ankles,
and rocks
yes.
and all those kinds of things, we need our ankle muscles to be as strong as possible. Okay. And we also want to build connections between our ankle muscles and our brain, because as we build those connections, then when you roll your ankle, they can react so that you don't sprain your ankle and that kind of thing. So we've had problems with that in the past also. So that concludes